right, y'all, we live in both places. Happy Sunday, everybody. All right, beautiful people, happy Sunday. Levine, blessings, Uncle JB. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. All right, y'all, it is March the 19th, 2022, day 59 of year. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong date, the wrong block, and I literally just filling out Sunday. I'm sorry. And it's Sunday, March the 20th, 2022, day 60 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1078. Today we're going to start tablet O of the complete Annunaki Bible, and then if we get enough time, we're going to start chapter 30 in my big toe. And if we got enough time, we'll actually finish chapter 30. We'll see. Auntie, great rising on this beautiful day. Amanda, great rising. All right. Father, we back at it another day. That's our opening. Sometimes my prayers be like that for real. And it's okay if they be that short, you know? Okay, let's get right to it. Okay, Tablet O is the book of the Chaldean oracles. This is the book of the Chaldean oracle tablets attributed to Zoroaster, he who contemplates the stars. The Chaldean oracles of Zoroaster were not written by the man known as Zarathustra, nor were the keys of Solomon written by Solomon or a Greek edition of a Necronomicon penned by a mad Arab. This is simply the name by which the lore is best known. Oh, I don't know if we're going to read that here. Like the keys of Solomon? I don't know. I got to see. I got to look into that one because I really like that one. But we'll see. Zoe, that's Wabu. Okay. This is simply the name by which the lore is best known. These tablets compose an additional magical part to the mystical book of Nabu Tutu, Tablet T. Combined, they form the very foundations of Western magical traditions and the Hermetic system remaining from Eridu and later in Babylon and Egypt. It is no small coincidence that these two series are designated as the O and T sections of our work. And then it has reference 86, and it says O and T, a significance that would detract from the simplicity of the present work to currently delve into. Ancient lore from the Chaldeans and Babylonians later evolved into Assyrian and Semitic Kabbalistic lore. I'm going to read that again for y'all that was paying attention. Ancient lore from the Chaldeans and Babylonians later evolved into the Assyrian and Semitic Kabbalistic lore. This cosmology offered priests and magicians an energetic map of the systematically created universe, a guide to the energetic currents perceived as layers, separating this existence in duality from the source. Sufficient space has been spent elsewhere concerning the connectivity of this lore to the Annunaki Stargate system. And Stargate system has reference 87, and that says Anunnaki Stargate system described as the original Mesopotamian Kabbalah. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Okay, so now the tablet begins. It's tablet 1, and it says cause, God, Father, Mind, Fire, monad, dyad, triad. That might be in our it might be in our title today. It might be. We got some good ones in here today. Okay. Here we go. The voice of the God with the head of the hawk, the God that is incorruptible, eternal, unbegotten, undivided, the dispenser of all that is good and indestructible, the best of what is good, the wisest of what is wise. He is the Father of equality and justice. He is the Father of the self-taught, physical, perfect, and wise, who know the meaning of these words and are inspired. The magicians come forth knowing that he is the God, and he is celebrated by his older and younger names, circulating through and about the universe as the eternal God, understanding the meaning of all numbers and the movements of all things in the universe, which are infinite and flow through the spiral force. The true and indestructible God is known as silence by the divine powers, Annunaki of the universe, and I'm sorry, that was a whole sentence. I broke it up. The true and indestructible God is known as silence by the divine powers, Annunaki of the universe, and is known to the souls of humans through the power of the mind alone. Oh, that's beautiful. Hold on, let me read that again. The true and indestructible God is known as silence by the divine powers, Annunaki of the universe, and is known to the souls of humans through the power of the mind alone. There are no speakable names for this force, though he has been known as Io. That's interesting, because my big toe refers to him as Ao. A-U-O, absolute unbounded awareness. No, that's wrong. I forgot. I gotta look it up again. But my big toe refers to the creator as Ao, and though he has been known as Io, I-A-O here. In 88, it has for Ao or Io, the Gnostic Hermetic threefold, ineffable, unspeakable name of God. Okay. I'm sorry. Business email coming through on Sunday. We've been going back and forth about this thing. Okay. The Father, hold on, let me go back. There are no speakable names for this force, though he has been known as Io, signifying he is above the 7 pillars of material existence. The Father conceals himself, withdrawn from our sight. He is enveloped in the fire of the intelligent light. The mind was activated before energy permeated the universe. The second mind rules the Empyrean world. And Empyrean world has reference 89, and that says Empyrean, holy or divine, as belonging to heaven or the highest. The Father conceals himself, withdrawn from our sight. He is enveloped in the fire of the intelligent light. The mind was activated before energy permeated the universe. The second mind rules the Empyrean world. Though power is with them, the mind is from the one. The mind of the one soars with the guise of relentless fire. After the paternal conception, in the soul resides. The heat resonates forth to animate all things. The intelligible was placed within soul programs, and the soul programs were placed in dull bodies. The Father of gods and men activated these soul programs. That's like us, right? We're these dull bodies, or these tombs, or these mummies, or these coffins, like the Egyptians call it. And we're the souls or the spirits or the fire or the light that is inside of here. And we're to learn this realm. Our spirits are to grow and develop with this body in this realm. It's the best school for spirits to grow, right? We can see this all the way back in the ancient Sumerian text. They talk about this, right? Okay. Let's go back up. The Father conceals himself, withdrawn from our sight. He is enveloped in the fire of the intelligent light. The mind was activated before energy permeated the universe. The second mind rules the Empyrean world. Remember, the Empyrean world means holy or divine. Oh, she up crying already. Hey, what's going on? Though power is with them, the mind is from the one. The mind of the one soars with the guise of relentless fire. After the paternal conception in the soul resides, the heat resonates forth to animate all things. The intelligible was placed within soul programs, and the soul programs were placed in dull bodies. All right. I love you. Love you too. All right. Send me that link for the ones that you was looking at, and I'll go pick them up. Okay. The Father of gods and men activated these soul programs. Natural works coexist with the Father's intelligent light. The soul program is dispensed from heaven, and the control of that program was established on high. The eternal spark imbued is a brilliant, never-ceasing fire, the mistress of life that fills the many recesses of the world. As soon as he walked out the door, she picked her crown back up. This girl. And the fiery whirlwind, let me go back. The mistress of life that fills the many recesses of the world. And the fiery whirlwind drew forth all of its brilliance, resonating outward, penetrating the abysses of the universe, extending to the material world, 7 wondrous rays. The monad first existed, and the paternal monad persists still. When the monad divided itself, the dyad was generated. The dyad glitters with intelligible light, spreading to govern all things in the lower and to give order to everything not ordered. Robert, that's Wabu, that's Wabu. Trina, that with you. Hey, girl, hey. When the Father's mind was further divided by will, the decree was put forth that the one shall be 3. And when the will was inserted into the soul program, all things in material existence were so divided: light, mind, and will. Not Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, right? Light, mind, and will. Every spirit and form in the universe was governed as such. The eternal spark was mingled from the triad. And on the ladder of lights, they became known as the 3 supernovas, governing the existence of 7. The force emanated the 3: virtue, wisdom, and the ineffable truth. Mom, shalom. Oh, great spirit. Hey. Oh, great creator of all life, teach us your ways. Hallelujah. Okay, y'all. The next section is tablet 2. Ideas, intelligibles, intellectuals, air. The Father whirled forth by invincible will and thought formed. The fountain of beginnings and endings was sprung forth. The fountains sprung up, being divided, but were one. By intellectual fire, the fountain was distributed among the intellectuals. The universe shined forth with ideas in all forms, but the primary Father poured forth the primordial idea. The 3 supernal rays shined forth, and many ideas and rays shined forth onto the world. But all things are connected in the intelligible world, and the 7 are the 3, and the 3 are the 1. But the intellect cannot exist without the intelligible. By intellect, the intelligibles introduce the souls into the world. By intellect, the intelligibles introduced senses into the world, and the paternal intellect has distributed secret symbols within. Those who have known the mysteries will reveal. It is contained within mystic silence. Saying this, it reminded me of something I was thinking about. I have this book called, and you may not necessarily understand why I'm adding this in, but I have this book. It's called The Initiates of the Flame, right? Write that down. The Initiates of the Flame. It's a book by, what's the gentleman's name? It's a well-known guy over in the they put him in the occultic realm, right? And at first, I kind of thought this guy was like on the borderline with the one, hold on, with the big Illuminati guy, the Caucasian bald head guy with the crazy eyes that was like the 33rd degree Mason. What's his name? Start with an A. What's Aleister Crowley, right? At first, I thought he was associated with Aleister Crowley, which is why every time I came across his stuff, when it kept popping up in some of my research for things, like I literally have like half this man's library now. But I forget his name, but I used to think he was associated with, with Aleister Crowley, right? But last year when his name kept popping up in some of the books and stuff, I was like, I just push it to the side because I've already because he would like show up right beside Aleister Crowley in the Gnostic section and the occultic section. I just automatically associated them to be together teaching the same stuff, right? Until one day he just kept popping up in different titles of some of the things of some of his books. I was like, well, let me just look. I ain't gonna order the book. I'm gonna just download it on Kindle just to kind of look at it. And if it's crazy, it's too out there, I can just go ahead and delete it, right, without even bringing it into my house. I mean, it was still on my Kindle, but y'all get the whole thing, right? So the first one I downloaded, it was called The Pineal Gland, right? And I'm like, okay, ain't nothing devilish about this book, right? He goes through teaching you about the pineal gland. Like you get the medical history of the pineal gland, and then you get the spiritual and the hidden significance and what happens with the pineal gland for those who are spiritual, right? When I say that book was enlightening, boy, it was so enlightening. It was like, man. So after I read, and he has a lot of really easy reads. If y'all go, I gotta get hold on. I can tell you who it is right now. And I'm saying all this because it says it is contained within mystic silence. And there's one, I'm not talking about that book, but it's a good one. And they're like, if you download them on Kindle, they're literally like $1.99, $2.99, $3.99, some of them $5.99, $7.99. I literally have I have like most of his library. And I read through just about all of them because they're really thin books, right? Hold on. No, not now. Let me go to... I gotta get this name for y'all. But there's a book called The Initiates of the Flame. Manley Hall. That's his name. Manley Hall, right? It took me a while to go look at his stuff. And some of you may have heard of his name and never actually read his stuff, especially if you're on Amazon a lot purchasing books and you've seen his name paired with Aleister Crowley. Just check him out, Manley Hall, and some of the stuff, because he gets really deep into detail with a lot of stuff also from ancient Egypt that I've read through. So when I started coming across that, I was like, oh, he know this too? Which helped me understand why he was so wise, and some of the other wisdom he was able to bring out and really make it just like this is a no-brainer. Like it's really like in like today's, like it's not hard to understand. They're not hard reads. They're really easy reads. And he's not using all big crazy and a bunch of ancient words. And if he does use ancient words, he gives a really good definition of what those words are. Manley Hall, right? The pineal gland. Actually, the full title of the book is The Pineal Gland, the Eye of God, right? And this is what it looks like. With all the stuff that I've read by Manley P. Hall, I would recommend his stuff. I definitely would. Okay, that's what it looks like, right? Just in case you were curious. But there is a book, and I just showed you that because that was the first one that I came across, which helped me to start checking into some of his other stuff. But there is another book called The Initiates of the Flame, right? The Initiates of the Flame by Manley P. Hall. And in this book, and they got a couple different covers for it, but here's what this one looks like the updated one. The Initiates of the Flame. Can y'all see that? inside of this book and a few other ones that I read, he kind of go over the same stuff. And he talks about those who would seek to be admitted to mystery schools, or have somebody that understands and knows hidden wisdom of the universe and spiritual laws. Because there are certain people, you don't see a lot of these people just openly teaching stuff, right? Because it's not for the masses. They're not ready. And something he brought out, which made sense. And although sometimes you may not have like a physical teacher there, like they show up with you every day, the way everything is now, you still have those kind. But the way, at least I'll just use my life. In my experience, I've found my teachers to be even my children at sometimes without them even knowing. I could watch nature as my teacher. Like sometimes I could see some kind of crazy situation happening between two people, and what went down, that'll be a teacher to me. Okay, what happened? Okay, it's not enough. I was caught in that situation. I learned how to pull wisdom from everything, right? So this book talks about how if you are to be initiated into the mystery schools, whatever that mystery school is, and there's a lot of mystery schools, right? Especially in the spiritual realm. Depending on what level you are, will determine what school you're admitted to. If you need to be admitted to a discipleship class, or I like how Yaki said, discipleship, then that's where you're going to go first. You won't get no hidden secrets or nothing until you learn discipline, right? So within the Initiates of the Flame, it talks about, it's a couple different older teachers, well-known scientists like Pythagoras, right? So Pythagoras had a mystery school. Yeah, Dana, Manley Hall, what you say? Crazy, the Yoga Institute on YouTube has really good descriptions. Chakras, Kundalini, energy. I was about to ask you if you watch their stuff. Yeah, wait a minute. You talking about from Mwata Ashby? Or Manley Hall. Manley Hall's one. I actually haven't looked at, the only thing that I've got from Manley Hall is a lot of his books. I haven't actually went to see if they had a website, which they probably do, which would be no big surprise to me based on the information that his books are full of, right? Okay, so real quick, back to what I was saying about it. So in the Initiates of the Flame, and it's one of them really thin books, the Initiates of the Flame, it talks about, well, first of all, the Initiates of the Flame is a title for those who are seeking to be get acceptance into a mystery school, for y'all to teach you some of the hidden mysteries of life and all these different things, how to manipulate elements, all of that stuff. That's considered a mystery school, right? Or learning, if you want to say magic, spells, or whatever, like the priesthood. There's a requirement. But it's like an unspoken requirement, one that I've learned over the years of having this discipline of doing the videos every single day. It's a discipline, I ain't gonna say that I just kind of fell into, but that I chose to do to discipline myself, right? That's why I told you, I say y'all gotta pick something, find something to be disciplined with, right? Because it explains, and I know now from experience from my own life. Just think about it. If you choose anything, whether it's playing an instrument, if you're disciplined every single day and you practice and you do this, you become better, right? As you become better, you're looked at as an expert, and people see that you're developing. Hey, and if they got some, we got this gig going on. Can you come play for us? Like just different things like that. You will see doors will begin to open. Different types of wisdom will begin to flow, right? You've decreased your entropy. You've opened the door for yourself where more things can just like flow to you and you're ready for it. He was breaking down that same thing about how that happens with people who choose disciplines, right? And it doesn't really matter which discipline you choose, right? And it could be a physical discipline, but people who, it's amazing as I go through and look at different people who are disciplined in different things. There's a certain point where the physical discipline kind of like clicks over into your spiritual growth. But you have to find something to be disciplined with, even if that's not your beginning thoughts, okay, let me get disciplined in this so I can get accepted into the mystery school. It's kind of like something that develops over the years, and you begin to become aware of it. Because the more you get disciplined in something and you just want to better yourself, and it's like, okay, discipline tends to take you inward, right? Inward, evaluating yourself from the inside out and developing your character. And those are actually the steps that put you on the spiritual path of growth, right? Not necessarily people, okay, I'm gonna go to school to be a preacher, pastor, evangelist, all this stuff. I mean, you could do that too, and that is a door there. But a lot of times, depending on where you come from, and if you hook up with charlatans, and that's anywhere, you'll find that same thing even in business. I'm not even going to talk about the church. You can find that same thing in business. Okay, I'm going to become a business person. But if you get hooked up with the wrong set of business people who are charlatans, right, and they take shortcuts and everything, and they trying to gouge their customers, if you link yourself up with that type of stuff, with that type of training, you're going to get the results of the people with that type of character. Case in point. Now, I was still active duty military. And Trina, and I don't think he here. He don't. I'm gonna just say his name, and nobody really get it. But you remember Massey? Okay, so when I first got to the ship, right? I hadn't even made rank yet, right? I was an E3. You come in, the lowest rank is an E1. You come in E3, right? So when we were out to sea, we were on a Roosevelt. We have to stand watches. And I was in the fuels division, right? Before I went TAD to security, I'm originally V4, purple shirt, great, right? V4. And we are in charge of the fuel that fuels the birds or the jets, right? The aircraft that are on the aircraft carrier. That's us. Above decks, below decks, they fuel the birds. We take care of the fuel below decks and the fuel, the pump rooms and all that stuff, right? But there are daily watches, 24 hours on a ship that we have to stay in. And every time you go to check a pump room or whatever your watch consists of, you have the sign off sheet or whatever that lets you know, that lets the watch commander for your division know that you've stood a proper watch. And every location that you go to, there's a watch paper there that you to sign your name, what time you came, like if there were any issues, all that stuff, right? Yes, baby.
About on your video.
In a few minutes. Audrey, shalom. And so I happen to be paired up with Massey on a particular watch. Now, I ain't gonna call Massey a slacker, but sometimes he decided to slack during his watches, right? And it was this particular watch, right? And the repercussions of what we did on this watch that helped me realize that you can't gun deck anything. You cannot gun deck a watch. That's how the Titanic sunk, right? That's how the Titanic sunk. People gun decking watches. So when you're standing a watch, you're responsible for all the lives of the people on the aircraft carrier. We're to check, make sure there aren't any leaks, any kind of hazardous, anything. People could die from the fumes if there was a leak, flooded the ship, although it wouldn't get that far just because of how the pump rooms and all that stuff were divided. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? So we gun decked the watch, right? So we sitting in the office, and every hour, well, actually not every hour, like twice an hour, we were to make rounds, and we were out to sea. Our division captain or the lead supervisor in our division, they weren't up standing a watch, nighttime. They were in their racks doing whatever. But this particular night, while we were standing watch, our division chief decided, no, not division chief, the lieutenant, he decided that he was going to get up and he was just going to go check all the spaces that we were in charge of, right? And we just happened to be on watch. And me and Massey was sitting in the office. I'm like, Massey, well, should we probably should get going so we can go. He's like, James, don't worry about it. I wasn't married at the time. My last name was James, Pamela James, right? So James, chill out. Don't worry about it. We good, So I'm like, okay, you the petty officer. I'm just an E3. Okay, so we sitting there and an hour passed. I'm like, Massey, you want to go? I'm like, well, you supposed to be going with me. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. I say, we don't get in trouble. No, we don't get in trouble. Everybody sleep. I'm like, okay. 2 hours. I'm like, Nasty, we really should get going. And he was watching a football game. Just hold on. Just when this go off, we'll go. We'll go through and we're gonna fix everything. Meaning we'll go through and back sign like we had been standing a proper watch. But we did not know that our division lieutenant was going to get up and walk through and do a watch himself, right? Go through checking everything. And when we were leaving, when we finally was leaving out of the office, here he come walking to the office, right? And Max was like, whoo, just in time. But his woo, just in time, was a little too late because he wasn't getting up out of his bed coming to the office to start his day. He had already been up and he had already been circling the ship above decks and below, right? And saw that we had been MIA for almost 3 hours. There were no signatures. And he didn't only check the pump rooms on the level where you can walk. He went below decks as well, because you got to climb down below decks, climb down a ladder, and check the ones that are down there by engineering. He went down all of them, right? And when he said, y'all two, back in the office, I knew it. My heart dropped. When I tell you we got in trouble, my G. We went to captain's mast for gun deck and a watch. And then that's when they told us, you really don't understand how serious this is, do you? And I'm just like, Father, I just pray they don't throw me in the brig, right? That's all I'm thinking the whole time. I was just like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. And Max is just like, they're like, he don't care at all, and I'm just like, I just got in the military. They gonna kick me out and I'm gonna get a dishonorable discharge. I got a baby to take care of. Like all this stuff going through my mind. But see, here's the thing. They actually, I ain't gonna say they let me off with a warning, but they put me on restriction and I got dropped to an E2. Yeah, I was on restriction and they dropped me to an E2. They ain't kicked me out. I mean, but shoot, that was bad enough. But still, I guess it really kind of evened out, although I wasn't the one that initiated. And I wasn't going to rat him out, And I just, when he was like, sir, I take full responsibility. I was like, I take full responsibility because he didn't make me stay in there, because I didn't want to rat him out, right? I just didn't, he, so I just did. So I got put on restriction. I got dropped down to an E2 from an E3, which when the next test came around that next year, I was still able to take it and make rank. But still, I learned a lesson. We're not doing no kind of shortcuts, right? Anytime somebody want to do a shortcut, even with like fixing my vehicle or whatever, I hear my mama voice. She said, the more you, hold on. I don't know, it might be some people here, different colors, but I'm going to just tell you what my mama said. She said, look, and she taught me this when I had Elijah, because me and James hadn't got married yet. She said, listen, you a girl, right? You a woman. Get your vehicle fixed. Get a warranty. Don't let anybody work on your car. She said, because the more you let a nigga work on your car, the more a nigga gonna have to work on your car, right? Meaning, you get somebody off the streets to do your stuff and sidestep stuff, you're gonna have more problems than you had going in, especially if they don't know what they're doing. She said, so just pay the money and get it done right. And you got a warranty. If something go wrong, take it back to the shop. And so anytime I see somebody want to take shortcuts, I faintly hear my mama's voice. No, thank you. I'll pay the extra $5 because the more you let a nigga work on your car, the more you got. No, the more. I said it right. Did I say it right, Mom? She said, the more you let a nigga work on your car, the more a nigga got to work on your car. Yeah. But that's not being racist or derogatory, but it's just like a little inside thing we had. Yeah, okay. So that's why it's like, pay the extra money. Do what's right. Don't shortcut stuff just to save a buck or whatever. And that's something I grew up with, right? This is just something I grew up with. Now, my husband, he got the same morals or whatever, but he is more interactive with actual mechanics and stuff where he know, okay, these guys got certifications and we get a discount and they got their own little side thing, but they legit. They're not jackleg bums and stuff because he don't let just anybody work on his stuff either, right? So, but okay, I said all that all to go back to what we was talking about in this mystic silence and discipline and the initiates of the flame. So the initiates of the flame teach you that discipline, if you are to ever get any kind of real spiritual growth that's worth anything, You must have discipline in your life, right? And you can start off with one discipline, but the discipline has to carry, it literally has to flow throughout your entire life. Even down to our eating habits, right? And how we care for ourselves. But there has to be a discipline. There cannot be any kind of laziness, because you let a little bit of laziness in, it will permeate your entire life and it will filter into everything. And they cannot have people who are loose holding and understanding the secrets of the world, right? Because loose lips sink ships. That's why it's so hard to get into mystery schools, or you have to prove yourself before you're entrusted with certain knowledge, right? And it's not that it's somebody that's holding the information from you, but things will happen supernaturally and in the unseen realm where things will happen where they won't be able to give you the information because you're not ready for it. You don't have any kind of discipline going on in your life, and you ain't getting the keys to my car. I don't care how sincere you are. I need to see some progress, right? I need to see it for a long time. We need to watch you. We need to keep our eyes on you, right? So that's what it teaches, which is also a principle that I found in the Holy Megillah, right? Which is why I said I am not willing to violate this particular rule. They say don't do it. I'm not going to do it in any kind of fortune, because like I said a week ago or so, I feel like this is more of a spiritual test for me, just because I understand, and the principles from the initiate of the flame came back to me. I was like, yep, nope, we ain't gonna do that. I say, yep, this I can see the test about to happen, and all my life I've been preparing for this moment. Yeah, I'm about right there. I'm about to get my entrance letter into the mystery school. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to violate those principles, right? Because in order to do that, a lot of people think that you can have any kind of character and hold the secrets of the world. No, you absolutely cannot. The secrets that actually mean something, well, you can. If y'all seen if I done talked about this before, it's a really, really good example. If y'all have seen the Magicians, right? It's on, I think at least it was the Magicians on Netflix or Amazon. Either way, it's called The Magicians, right? So there's this hidden school, just like Harry Potter, and you got Hogwarts, right? It's this hidden mystery school that really exists, but nobody knows it's there. But the way they do the movies is they kind of give you these principles. There is a hidden school, right? Even Hogwarts had certain requirements of their students once they gain interest. Otherwise, you'd be kicked out and you can't get back into Hogwarts. Now, I know the Christian world tell you, Harry, stay away from Harry Potter. I used to say that too until I'm like, let me see what they actually telling me to stay away from. But I grew a little bit more than I had while I was in a church. So when I watch Harry Potter, I'm like, what are they talking about? How did they get this from that? I'm like, this is completely like wisdom flowing all through this movie. This woman who created these movies was a freaking genius, right? That's just my take. And I've watched all the series of Harry Potter, right? I can see they're teaching you about the mystery principles and even how some people are born with gifts. And you have teachers that are waiting for you as you grow to help you develop these gifts. Now, I brought that and the Magicians, because they're teaching you the same thing. There is a right way to go. There's the right hand path and there's the left hand path. And people who like the shortcut character growth, they end up falling to the left hand path, or like in the Magicians, they end up as hedge witches, right? Instead of the ones who have taken the time to walk through the disciplines of life, and discipline is now a part of their life. They actually show and walk in the discipline. They've got control of their anger, to where hedge witches, boy, you done piss me off. I'm gonna turn you into a zebra or something like that, right? But y'all get what I'm saying. It's the same thing spiritually. Entering into the mystery schools of Yah, whatever you want to call them, be it having wisdom downloaded to you. If you don't have any kind of discipline about your life, you might as well hang it up. You ain't getting into the mystery school no time soon. Don't expect the Creator to reveal any kind of secrets to you about nothing, because you're going to get nothing, because you haven't practiced discipline, right? Whether it's you getting up on time, and I still struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I be standing right here in front of my computer and I'm still late 5 minutes because I'm trying to do other stuff, instead of logging. I was like, Pam, girl, what is your freaking problem? Why are you still, like, you were here 30 minutes, like, on time, but you still, I'm thinking this to myself, I'm like, how am I still 2-3 minutes late when I've been right here the whole time? It's crazy. I have to learn how to triage, like my sister say, like the emergency room do. They triage the incoming patients, right? You need to make sure you put the most important things there, because there's always little things that can get in the way, and you not, look, that could have waited till later. That could have waited till later. Now it's time to focus on this, right? You got to learn how to triage your time, right? And before you get into a mystery school, you got to learn how to do all these little small things. And like the scriptures say, it's the small foxes that spoil the vine, right? It's the same. They teach you this everywhere, but for some reason or another, we seem to miss this, or think we can completely skip out on the whole discipline part, right? Or the whole discipleship part. Or like I said, like I like how Yaki said it the other day, not discipleship. It was really pronounced disciplineship. You have submitted yourself to disciplines, right? Now you have proven what you needed to prove that you are worthy to be entrusted with some things. Okay. We've watched it for about 15, 20 years. Oh, yeah. You on point. You show up on time. Matter of fact, military teaches us if you on time, you late. You on time when you show up 15 minutes early, right? I be here like 15 minutes early, but I still be hitting that button 3-4 minutes late. I'm like, girl, what are you doing with your life? You have got to get better about this. And if you're on YouTube, when you see the thing playing like it's counting down, waiting, like I'm here, like I'm really here that whole time. And I could literally just hit it and start it, but I be trying, okay, let me do this. Let me check the email. Let me respond to this real quick. Like, Pam, stop it. The early mornings are set aside to do this. Once you're done, you can start that. Yes, babe. I want to get on. You know what? You're right. He snuck it away just now when I opened it up to look at my stuff. Tell him I said bring it back down here. Because you did. You brought it down here. Tell him I said bring it back. So that's how I got into the mystic silence. The initiates of the flame teaches you that even Pythagoras and all the big science people, even people in mystery schools, they would not take on a protege or a student if they are not disciplined. And I think it was Pythagoras. Pythagoras wouldn't even look at you unless you knew how to do like trigonometry and things like that, because learning how to do calculations and things like that let them know that, first of all, you actually had to sit down and you took some time to think about equations, to learn this. People who know how to do that, people who know how to do things like that, it says something about them and their personal time. Yes. Hold on, 1 second, y'all. Josiah, give that to her. She brought it down here. I brought it down there. I know. She did. She came down here with it earlier and she took it back up. But she did ask first. Give it to her. Give it to her. I let you have it all day yesterday. Go ahead. Hush it up. Yeah, so I'm big on discipline. Although I may be undisciplined in a whole lot of things, I'm working on it. Like, I really am. Even with getting my workup time back early before I even start this. Yes, girl. Why you gotta cry? He's gonna give it to you. Go up there, tell him I said give it to you right now. Go. 1 more second. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. Josiah, give it here right now. Let's go. Give it here. Give it here. Give it here. Give it here. Just because it was sitting on lock. Yeah, I know. I put it in, but I forgot. Listen. Just stop. Stop it. And when I get that belt, I'm taking it from you too. Yeah. So, 44 minutes. Okay. So, but discipline is a really, really big thing. If you don't have discipline, like if you don't have discipline in your eating habits, your undisciplined eating habits will cause you to leave this earth early, right? You'll destroy your body. Any kind of undisciplinedness, we really need to work through. And that's something that we have in our control. If we don't actually work through the things that we can control ourselves, we will not be entrusted with spiritual things. Like we get like the little small things that everybody else get, right? Everybody can get this, right? And like really, we should be ashamed of ourselves because of that. Everybody else can get this. But those who get more and more, it's because they taken what is in their power and they were able to get control of their own self, right? And once you get control of your own self, there are teachers in the unseen realm that are waiting for you, right? But if you never get there, you just don't, right? And it's like your orders will sit there, just like this dream I had. I shared this dream with y'all a few months back. I had this dream that I was running this race, right? And I could see people that I knew, people that I didn't know, like people that I know now that are alive today, even some people here that come to the live. I seen a lot of my family members, friends from earlier. It was like this line of people, and like we all started and we were in this race. And as we began to go, some people were speeding past me, but I kept like this. I felt like I was going too slow, but I kept my pace because it was the pace I was comfortable with, because the pace that I chose, it was a pace that I could just make it through without stopping or having to pull my own self out of the race. I just chose a pace that was comfortable for me. And as I began to keep my pace, I was able to keep my pace without stopping during this race. And as I began to gain ground, I saw people that started and passed me up. They stopped and they stand over here talking and they doing other things. And I'm just looking at them and I'm just keeping my steady pace. And I found it was almost like it was an obstacle course type thing, because there were stops in between the race. And towards the end of the dream, there was this last stop to where we were actually running to this next section to get orders. And there was like this guy or a coach. Now I know that person. He was actually standing there with like you know how coaches, you taking a test and they got the thing, a clipboard and everything. He was standing right there, and it's funny. He had on sweats and like a towel. Right, you know how you working out, towel around your neck or whatever. Had a towel around his neck, clipboard and stuff. Standing there with the pen, marking off the people who were coming. But when you got there to that line, there was this huge lockbox, right? And it was sitting on the ground. And we were outside to see grass and everything everywhere. And there was like this huge tree. And there was this big lockbox that was sitting on the ground. And in this lockbox, this instructor guy, I was like, that must have like been an angel. Somebody unseen. I recognize him. He's one of the instructors or whatever that's kind of keeping note of what we're doing. So there was this lockbox. And in this huge lockbox, it was like a file where you can lift the top off of it. And it was kind of like clear, like the storage. If you buy like storage containers from Walmart or somewhere where you can store stuff, it was something like, it was like a very secure box, but it was transparent where you can see through it and you could see inside of it a bunch of files. And in each file would represent somebody who was running a race. And inside of the file were orders for your next stop or your next instructions where you were supposed to go when you got to this particular point. And that's what this particular guy, he was marking you off and he was letting you get your orders. Very few people got their orders from that box. There were even people who had crossed the line, crossed that portion of the finish line where they were allowed to get their orders, but they never took their orders. They just stood around talking to each other like they didn't have another stop to go through. And I got there and I'm looking around and I'm like, and he looked at me, the instructor guy who was keeping on, he said, take your orders, only your orders, and head to your next stop. I said, okay. And so I got down on my knees, like you would get down on your knees in prayer position, you know, or face the east or whatever. And I lift up the top. And when I lifted up, I began to see names of people that I knew, family and friends, and everybody that was there, right? But I saw mine. But before I grabbed mine, I got mine. And I pulled it out and I put it on my lap and I looked at them. And the names that I saw, like family and friends, I said, can I, he said, I can't let you give them to them. He said, but I will allow you to look at them. He said, but you can't take them. You can't give it to them. They have to come get it themselves. He said, but I will allow you to look at it. And so I was like, okay. And so I started going through their files. I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't even know this is waiting for them. Right? Hold on. Getting teary-eyed, y'all. Okay. So getting to this particular part of the race, if you look at life, you got different obstacles that you run up against in life. Life things happening is a part of the race. But you have to make it past these obstacles in order to get your orders to get to the next part. So I noticed there were some family members and friends with the different life things that they ran up against. I'm not getting that pool that they were running into, that they couldn't get past it. They were allowing these situations in life to hold them back. They were being distracted and they couldn't make it to the next leg of the race. Yes.
This is for everyone.
No, I'm not getting that. Go. Get out of Amazon.
How long have you been standing?
Since I started. Bella, guys.
Are you able to sit down?
I am, but I'm not because the chair is rickety and the piece is broken. And I haven't found one that I like it. Guys, I'm live.
I know.
Okay, Tootie, no. Get off of Amazon. I'm going to take it from you. Okay. Kind of a good distraction. Get my tears back. Okay. So the different obstacles while they were running this race, not that they couldn't get past the obstacles, because they absolutely could. It was clear in their file that they had everything that they needed to overcome every obstacle that they were going to go through until they got to the next leg, right? And so when I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh. I said, they don't even know that this is waiting for them here. And I'm looking back, I'm like, where did they go? Like, where are y'all at? And I spent time there, like I was trying to wait, because I was waiting for a few people that I knew, who I knew started the race with me, but I couldn't see them. And I'm looking, I'm like, where are y'all at? And I'm steady going through the files. And he's like, okay, it's almost time for you to go. You can't stay here too much longer. I'm like, okay, hold on. Whew. I did not realize I was going to get teary-eyed telling y'all that. Hold on. I'm really teary-eyed, y'all. Hold on. Okay, so I'm looking at the files, waiting for family and friends to come. Now, while I was there, it was about 3 people that I saw. They actually made it to the box, and they actually was able to pull their files out. They looked at them, and they headed to the next leg of the race, right? But the people that I was waiting for, they never showed up while I was there. And it was like, okay, it's time for you to go. You cannot stay here any longer. You have to go, right? Because all the orders and everything, it was like they were all intertwined somewhere, right? And if you get held up at one place, you hold up you hold up different people. You hold up different legs of the race, or the different legs of the race. And so I was like, man, I wish I could even tell them, but I can't even tell them what I saw in here, because if they didn't get there, they just don't get that information. And I wasn't allowed to give it to them. I wasn't allowed. What I saw, I was to keep with me. I couldn't tell them. I couldn't show them the file. I couldn't run back and like, look, I will allow you to look at it, but you need to put it back and only take yours when you go. So finally, with big regrets, not like big regrets, but I regretted that nobody showed up while I was there, because we could have went together. And I'm just like, ah. And so finally, I took everybody's file and I put it back in there. Now, when I woke up from this dream, I couldn't remember anybody else's name. Now, I know family and friends were there, but there was one name that came out of that dream with me, and it was crystal clear. And I went to high school with her. She was the only name that I was able to remember, right? And I was shocked at the name, because we weren't even really that close. Like, we weren't like friends or anything. We just kind of, how people in high school, hey, and that's about it. Like, you never hang out with them or anything like that. she was like one of those type, like we never hung out. It was just like I knew you, and that was it. But it was her name that I remember. And here's what's crazy, y'all. Now we're friends on Facebook, although we don't really engage, but we just kind of friends because we knew each other in high school, right? What's crazy is the day after I had this dream, she actually came to our page and she started liking some of our stuff. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, now I know that is not a coincidence. Like, I don't even talk to this girl. We don't even talk to her, right? And she comes and she starts liking stuff, liking pictures. That like blew me away. I'm like, yo, this is more going on here in this realm than what we really care to believe for real. Like, it really is. So, y'all, I got into all of this, telling y'all about the initiates of the flame. Like, we need to start this right here. But the Initiates of the Flame by Manley P. Hall, it just, I don't know, his teachings, they just really, I don't know, maybe I was ready for them, but they really just come in and they just really sit down deep. And it really helps me just to look at life in a way that I never really thought about. And it's really about looking at yourself, going inward and developing yourself, like how you think about things and even situations in life. It's not that the whole world is against you. You are refusing to grow. You are refusing to learn something. You are refusing to develop your character. And now you're at a frustrated point. But everybody else is not the problem. It's you that's the problem, right? So that's a book I definitely would recommend. And the discipline, he like drills it in. And he talks about even like Pythagoras, they would not even take on students to be their proteges. He wouldn't teach you anything if you literally had to pass a test, because he needed to know how you thought. How do you get frustrated just working out math problems? Because if you get frustrated working out math problems, how are you going to sit and solve things in life? I don't need anybody. I don't want to teach anybody like that, because you don't think, right? Like, think, Leroy, think. You getting frustrated, right? He said, I don't want any students like that. So until you come to this level, don't even say my name. Okay. Now, and he go back to what they were doing, and it's just like, what? Just like on Doctor Strange, they kick him out the magical teaching place. I forget what it's called. I be screwing the names all up on Doctor Strange. They set him out. They kicked him out, right? Because he didn't believe these little chakra things that I see in a hospital store. Yeah, really? What is this? You mean to tell me there are secrets of the universe sit just in the gift shop of a hospital? Oh, and he just like tossed it like, this means nothing, right? And the issue pushes his soul, his astral form, out of his physical body and let him experience it just a little bit. Oh, it's a joke to you? Even though we got wisdom sitting all over the world in plain sight and people just bypass it, they can't even recognize. That's how wisdom and truth can be. It's jewels sitting out everywhere. But if you're not ready for it and you don't recognize it, you just think it's garbage and you pass by it. And let somebody like me walk past and say, oh, thank you very much. See, y'all, you don't want it? Okay, yeah, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, okay. Just like the person who found in the New Testament, what's the little parable? Just like a man who was out working the field and found like a precious jewel or something out there, went and sold all he had and bought that field because of that one prized possession that was found there. He had his mouth, oh, this means nothing. You want this barren, you giving up all of this for this barren piece of land? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Girl, you done lost your mind. Okay. You know, you should look into meditation for the Merkaba. Jay Shalom. Listen, I got it. I know about the Merkaba. The Merkaba. I know. I got some meditations on it and a lot of good teachers. I got some really good teachers I know about the Merkaba. I don't want to keep giving y'all all these references. But I actually did give y'all the references a few months back. If you go into the community section, it's all there. It's all there, right? So, but back here, where it says, those who have known the mysteries will reveal, it is contained within mystic silence, right? And that's how those who know the secrets of the world, and even what you would call magic and all of this stuff, they contain it all within silence. And they don't just blab it out to everybody, right? It's not for everybody. Everybody not ready for it. Matter of fact, everybody will discourage you, and they will tell you to stay away from it because it's bad for you. It's all of the devil, and you're going to go to hell, right? It's going to take you away from your God, really? No, those are really good gatekeepers to keep out the riffraff. And those who have not taken up disciplineship, right? We don't need disciples. We need those who have discipleship to join us. Discipline yourself. When you discipline yourself, you can join the ranks of the higher class, if you want to call it that, right? Or you can start school. But a prerequisite to getting into school, the school, spiritual school, for real, is discipline. That's what we have to master here on this level, discipline. In America, if you live in, I've only lived in America, but I've visited different countries while in the military. It seems like America, well, only from my experience, not saying that it's not everywhere, America offers you everything that you possibly can to completely cast discipline to the wind. And you can choose. You can take the right-hand path of discipline, or you can take the left-hand path and end up over here with the hedge witches, right? The hedge witches, give me this. They stealing spells and stuff and doing all this and got things. They killing people with they half-cocked hedge spells, and they get magic too. But a lot of times it's half-cocked, and it's for ill purposes, and it's to hurt people and take things from people, while those on the right-hand path are actually going through the path of discipline. They're learning how to take all these things and put them back in their proper order. That's essentially what you're doing, right? You're co-creators with the Creator here, and you're helping. He leaves a lot of this stuff for us to fix down here. As you show discipline, they throw you a few bones. They help you out here and there, right? Until you're able to tap in completely, right? And just go from one dimension to the next. Hey, look, I need y'all help here. So I'm having this issue here. Have you thought about this? Oh, no, I haven't thought. Okay, well, okay, check. And they're freely there, like they're always there. And now once you practice discipline and you know how to tap into them, you can just show up. Hey, I need some help. Can y'all this? Okay, this is what okay, think about this. Because they ain't going to give you the answers. They just going to ask you questions, right? And that's what I figured out. They just ask you questions. Even about my children, when I'm asking stuff, they said, well, have you thought about who Joshua really is? I'm like, well, no, I haven't. So ever since I heard that about my 11-year-old son, have you thought about who Joshua is? I'm like, well, what about Joshua? And they just, what about Joshua? So now I be looking at Josh. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, okay. And I ask him, do you know who you are? You know why you came here? And he looking at me like, what? Like, because clearly they're still kind of asleep. They got to walk this path and figure it out on their own. But as I begin to understand and see, I can't come out and tell them. They have to kind of discover it. But I can help make the path a little bit easier to help them wake up faster. You see what I'm saying? It's easy when you do the work and you're figuring it out yourself instead of somebody just giving it to you, because then it just becomes this whole big pile of stuff that you got to do. And I don't want to do that. No. What? No. This is your idea, And that's why you can't just tell people stuff. You can't give them stuff. You have to give them the opportunity to uncover it for themselves. When they uncover it for themselves, now they own the information and they're excited about it. And they look into it, things they don't understand. It becomes this whole journey, this scavenger hunt type thing. And it becomes, their journey goes from dull to absolutely amazing. Like, before, I hate Earth, Jesus come get us now, to oh my gosh, I freaking love it here, right? Like, I found myself on a daily basis, when I learn wisdom from the truth, or me and my husband go to the movie and there's a principle that I pick up, I'm sitting there like, I freaking love it here, right? That's a complete night and day from a couple years ago. Like, we waiting on Yahweh in Babylon to come get us, right? Like, you have to take us now. It's just getting worse and worse here in Babylon. Like, when you gonna show? It's been 400 years, right? I'm completely. It's completely. I've gone from the night to the day. Like, I friggin' love it here. Like, can't y'all see? Y'all, we are in school, and I'm just like rooting y'all on. Like, guys, y'all gotta get this, right? Y'all gonna stay here. I don't want y'all to keep repeating grades. But I can't like tell y'all some stuff. Y'all got to figure it out on your own. I'm going to give y'all as much as I can. Y'all got to kind of take it and run with it. Yes, Uncle Nathaniel. When the student is ready, when the student is ready, and the other half of that, what you didn't put, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. He put exceptionally great analogy on the lessons. Dana, I know, right? She said, girl, we was trying to get to Africa. All of us, we looking out land and stuff. Look, literally, we was trying to leave out here, try to get to Africa, right? Like, yeah, we got to get out of here. They're going to blow up Babylon. Russia going to come in and invade. China going to be here too. Like all this stuff. Like when I say we were strategizing, my G, we were strategizing how to get out of America. Like we knew we was going to Africa. Like my whole family has passports. I'm like, make sure y'all get y'all passports. Like literally calculating everything. Not that it's a bad thing, right? You can travel and go wherever you want to go. But even when you go there, after you get there for a while, you just gonna go from one school of discipleship to the next. And your discipleship might be a little bit harder to get there. Some things may be a little bit easier, but other things, you just gonna turn up the fire on yourself a little bit. Like seriously, when you like to jump around, you turn up the fire. You cause the lessons to change. It has to adjust now to the new environment, and a lot of time it doesn't get easier. It gets harder because you refuse to yoke yourself to some type of discipline. So now it has to get a little bit harder to get your attention while you're always trying to escape what's the best thing for you. Like what you're searching for is chasing you, but you're running from it. And you don't realize that you're running from it, right? But it's the best thing for you. Just submit yourself to discipline. I'm telling you, it's the best thing in your life. Especially if you want to grow spiritually, you don't need to know nothing else at this point in your life if you don't have your discipline under control. Get it under control. Initiates of the flame. Initiates of the flame. We are initiates of the flame, of the great flame, the creator who is a fire, a devouring, healing fire. We are initiates of the flame, right? We are a part of that flame. But right now we're flickering. Sparks going in and out. Can't keep power on. Everything go off. Ceiling fan go off. Every lights go off. We can't keep the power on, right? We got to figure out how to keep the power on. Discipline is the foundation. Discipline is the foundation. And discipline mustn't go just to your eating habits. That's a good place to start. But it has to go to every area of your life. And also, here's another key thing that they talk about. And I thought this was so good. You know how, and we're going to just pause this. We're already at an hour and 7 minutes. So we'll just come back and start tablet 2. You know how, you'll see this a lot in church. I'm not really sure about other religions. And even in the New Testament, you will see it, right? How they say those who are, and I guess it just depends what you're doing and what office you hold. But you will see it a lot in church. And so I used to wonder about it. Okay, so you know how you have pastors and different ones. You have people who give their life to the church and they're there 24/7 all day long. And it could even be like, it could even be a church that's not even bringing in enough money or whatever to keep the doors open. You will see after a while, because I don't think they really get, now I can kind of understand this a little bit better. It's like the churches will go under, or the leaders will get pissed with the congregation because they're not giving enough money, and now they're trying to do everything to fleece the sheep, trying to bring in different preachers to get the money up so they can just kind of keep the doors open. They're missing a portion of discipline. Now that I see they're missing a portion of discipline, to whereas if they had that under control, they wouldn't even ever have to ask the sheep for money to do anything, right? Especially if this is a road that you say that the Father put you on, that called you to, you wouldn't even be needing to ask the people for any money. Like seriously, that should not be their concern because you're there to teach them. You should be in, at least if you're there in a position to teach them, you should be on a higher level than what they are. And although they may have some things to offer you like encouragement, but there is not really anything more that they should be able to offer you that you don't already have on this level or have access to on this level, which is why you're in a teaching position. Like, what can my children do for me that I can't do for myself, except for give me love and thank you and just kind of appreciate what I do. I'm on a little bit higher level. I'm here to teach you, to bring you up to this level, not me down to yours. And a lot of times we see that operating in reverse, especially in the church. And I hate to keep harping on the church, but that's what I'm familiar with. That's where we come from. There's a really good example, right? So with Pythagoras and some of these other teachers that they bring out in Initiates of the Flame, they say if you're going to be a part of the mystery school, you can't just be a part of here. Like, you can't completely come over here, be spiritual, and forget you have a whole physical life. Because if you neglect your physical life and your family just to do this, you're still not worthy of the teachings. You don't get it yet. You have not figured out how to balance your life, right? And so I was like, oh, shoot, right? So if you go to church all the time and your family is lacking stuff, your church ain't bringing in money, the pastor's family about to be put out, it ain't the church that you should be getting pissed with. First of all, you should have had something where you're able to take care of all of your needs, right? Like, you literally have to figure these things out. Like, your family can't be in need and you out here preaching the gospel or whatever you teaching to other people in your family, right? A person who doesn't, what's that scripture? It's right down the tip of my tongue, but what is the scripture, y'all? A person, and it's in Isaiah 58, those who fast and turn their back on their family or their blood. Like, don't come here and fast. You're turning your back on your own family. Like, that is not acceptable. You can't come here and give yourself to me and completely ignore your family. You are a part of both worlds, and you have to learn how to balance them both, right? I think the scripture's like, those who don't care for their family is worse than an infidel. It's that particular scripture. It's that same principle which they also teach you in the Initiates of the Flame. Like, if you can't figure out how to balance your life spiritually and physically, especially if you have taken on the responsibility of a family, your first responsibility, which falls in the same line of discipleship, that comes first, then you do this, right? This is something you're adding, and although it may become a big part of your life, you need to learn how to balance it, right? Just like me with the videos, I can't necessarily really do these late in the day because I got a family. I can't forget about my husband. I can't, like some people, I can't go preach the gospel. That's not what I'm doing, but it's an example. I can't go preach the gospel and be in the pulpit preaching all night, and I got a husband at home and I got children at home, small children that they gotta eat. I can't do all this. Well, I was doing this for the Lord. Y'all go get y'all something to eat. Absolute foolishness. First of all, get out the pulpit. You ain't supposed to be there. Matter of fact, get out right now. I will have you drug out. This is not what we stand for, right? Our lives should be completely in order. You don't forsake them to come hang out with us. You need to make sure this is in order, and then you build on this side. You have to find the time, which means you also need to bring in another level of discipline, which you will realize once you get your eating habits under control, you will be able to squeeze out 1 to 2 to 3 more hours, but earlier in the day, right? You'll be able to rise early with us, because that's when we all hanging out. We're hanging out in the early hours of the morning, right? But if your eating habits are not under control, you ain't gonna be able to bring yourself to get up early. Or you may be able to do it for a while, but as your body gets older, that strength is going to start to wane, and you need to be like on a plant-based diet to where you rise early. If your body is constantly filled with food that's weighing you down, your belly is your God. Get out of here. No, you can't. No. You're falling asleep on us. We here 4 a.m. every day, right? Like, all of these things, and you have to figure this out along the way, and you have to just kind of adjust things, and it's a process to whereas now we can get up and do what we do, and the family is still asleep. It's also a principle that I learned while I was in the military. By 7 a.m., most days, and some days by 6 a.m., the military has done more than what people would do in their entire day. And that is a real thing, because they rise early. We rise early. We get things done early in the morning while everybody is still asleep, right? Because we're protecting the world, right? So they expect us to be on our game.
Mom,
yes, babe?
once you're done, can I take your phone and do a TikTok?
Oh, no. I got some stuff to do. No.
I
I let y'all do it all day yesterday when we was at the office. No. So you expect your parents, right? If you got parents, you expect your parents that they're caring for you. You expect your parents to get up and go to work or do whatever it is that's gonna keep us living in our house. So we ain't gotta live in our car, mama and daddy and mama, whoever you living with, right? We don't expect that. Kids don't even think about that, but we have to take the responsibility and think ahead of time. We have to be aware of all these things, right? So that's something, a really good lesson that the initiates of the flame will teach you. And that's one I absolutely do recommend. It's really good for spiritual growth. It's not, like I said, none of his books are on the same line with Aleister Crowley, right? And although I really haven't gone through, I'll say, any of Aleister Crowley's stuff, simply because, hold on, would you move on? Simply because of some of the energy that I get radiating from some of his stuff. And so I ain't even touched this stuff yet, right? That's not a closet I'm willing to go into to grab out anything I need. I can't right now, but I know the energy coming from like Manley P's Hall writings is completely different from what I'm feeling radiating from his stuff, the Aleister Crowley, right? Although Aleister Crowley used a lot of ancient Egyptian stuff and spells, I'm not feeling like I'm being led to go look at his stuff. So I don't mess with it, you know. But Manley P. Hall, like I said, I got over half of his library literally in my Kindle, and I got a lot of the printed version of the books. Also, it's one called a treatise on magic, which is another little small book, about 30 pages. It's really paper thin. It's really good, and it's not like this whole magic thing, but it just kind of teaches you some natural principles and energy. Matter of fact, on the front of it, the book, and you'll probably see it if you go on Amazon, it's called A Treatise on Magic. You will see a human body there, and you will see the energy radiating off of it, and it splits the body down the middle, and one side that's full of light that the energy is flowing. There are no blockages. The understanding is open. The pineal gland is open. Like I think the pineal gland and the trees on magic should probably go together. It shows you that how, like, you got disciplines, you've unblocked things about yourself, you kind of like purified your heart in so many words or whatever, to whereas the person who is not able to flow in magic, this side, the flow is all blocked. The lines are all squiggly, and it's dull. It's like, what's happening with this side of your body, my G? Why is the energy not flowing? Why are you dark over here? To where this is completely bright. And he is just a really good teacher, right? He's a really good teacher. So that I do recommend it. And I'll post it in all my places that I normally post stuff. But y'all, that's it. I think that's all we're gonna talk about today. Yeah, I think I'm talked out right now, so I think that's probably it. So we're going to pause right here. We'll start Tablet 2 tomorrow. Tablet 2, which is going to go back over this and the mystic silence. But the whole point of this was that you can't even grow spiritually if you're neglecting your physical life. You have to be diligent about your spiritual life. If you have a job, you can't forsake your job to just come do magic or learn about the spiritual realm. You got some like you'll see some of the camps, and this is no slight for any of the Hebrew brethren or sistren that are part of camps, but they're missing some discipline, right? They say your wife need to go take care of all this stuff while you do nothing but read the scriptures all day. Oh, really? What kind of mystery school you getting into? What kind of spiritual wisdom being downloaded onto you, right? Because if you get to a point, let's say if you do that, right? We can tell if you're really listening or not. Let's say you're doing that. Now, if your heart is really pure and true, and say that's what you learn, okay, I need to give myself fully to the scriptures. My wife is doing this or husband doing this. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what I know that's going to happen. If you're really sincere, right, and you don't have ulterior motives for what you're doing, what's going to happen is you're going to get to a certain point. Then the unseen realm is going to start talking to you. Did you forget you had a wife? Like, they're going to say that to you. They really are. And those who get so engrossed into scriptures, where I'm sitting, I'm thinking, I'm like, did God, whatever you did God not remind you that you had a whole family? Like, because the way people would make you think about this, especially if you believe they lied, I'm going to just call them lies or their assumptions sometimes. People would have us think that God don't care nothing about your family, that y'all don't care nothing about your family. He just wants you all to himself or whatever, and you need to be locked away for hours and doing nothing but studying the scripture while he download wisdom into you. That is not the creator that I have come to know. Because, matter of fact, he won't even give you this if you're forsaking your family, right? So the church, I'm like, who is y'all really listening to, my G? Right? And then when they ignore that, look, close this up. Go tend to your family. When they ignore that from the hidden teachers, the hidden realm, then they just go on, they become vagabonds in the spirit, right? And they'll keep flowing off of things that they already learned how to do and know how to do. But those who are actually in tune with y'all or with the creator, they'll be able to pick that up sooner or later. And they will remove themselves. They should remove themselves, right? Because that is not the way our creator works. He does not, especially if you have a family. That's what I've come to learn. Yes, order. He is really in order. And sometimes we would like to think he is in our type of order, what the order we think. Well, they'll be okay. They can go do that. Let me just do this for you, y'all, all day. We're going to go preach the gospel. We're going to stay up here at the church all night praying for people. We're going to hold all these, everything for the sake of the kingdom. And he like your family. All right, I'm going to head on out. Like, seriously, I'm like, yo, this is crazy, So I try to, especially when my family get up, and y'all been here long enough, my family's just kind of incorporated, and it's just like, I stay mindful of that. So, but that's it. All of these things are tests. It's like a school to get you to develop your own discipline, so you can kind of be raised to higher heights and more spiritual wisdom and understanding is poured out into you, right? And that can only be a blessing for you if you're doing it right. It shouldn't even really be a frustrating thing. It really shouldn't, but it really should be a joy. And I found it to be a joy in these last few months of just like, man, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it here, right? So, so that's it, y'all. So be mindful of those things. If you can, check out the Initiates of the Flame. Like I said, I'll share the references. I'm not sure who that is. Edgar Casey. That Kimball Mack. That name. Did I say that right? Edgar Casey or Case? I think it's Casey. The name sounds familiar. He said, where does Edgar Casey fit in, or does he? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look that person up. I don't know. But yeah, y'all, that's it. Yeah, that's it for today. I think that's gonna be in our title, Discipleship. All right, and also I've been thinking about it, and it got to do with this whole discipleship, y'all. I'm not sure when, and I know some people is on different time zones, and I know it's just you may not be able to move with us when we go. But I'm going to probably be adjusting our meet time in the morning sometime in the coming future. Matter of fact, I'm almost absolutely sure of it, right? Because it comes with a balance with my family, right? I got to rise just a little bit earlier. And the way our business is growing, because it is me and my husband's business and we work it together. There are some contracts and things where we're required to be up just a little bit report. Not me, because I'm working from the office unless I actually need to go out to the site, do a site visit or whatever. But it's required a little bit earlier in the morning than what I've been doing, like starting at 9, right? So I'm going to have to start like my business mornings. And although I'm checking emails, I'm going to have to start it a little bit earlier, which is going to push us back or push us up. However you want to say that. We just going to have to start a little bit earlier, right? So we already doing the week starting at 7:15. And on the weekend, I think I'll still leave the weekends at 7:30 though. I don't think I'm going to touch the weekends. It's just Monday through Friday where we're going to possibly have to move it back like a whole hour, like at 6:15. Yeah, I know. I just want to just tell y'all now. Remember, we always record it though, but for those who want to be here with us live, and I know it might cut down, might have 2 or 3 people here, but it's okay, it's recorded. But you know, I'm working on a whole discipleship, the family, the business, also my morning devotions, because my devotions should not affect my family in a negative way, because you should be growing spiritually, and it should be only for the betterment. We have the betterment of myself and my family. If I'm giving myself more to this and not my family who's living with me, how can you what's that scripture? And I think it's in the New Testament. What is it? It's a couple of different ones you can use. You know how you go into the altar? It talks about bringing your gift to the altar. And you have aught against your brother whom you can see, but you bringing a gift to me whom you can't see. Leave your gift right there. Go and get that right with your brethren, right? Leave that gift right here. Leave that right here. I'm going to be here in the unseen realm or whatever, but you need to go handle this with the people you can actually see with your figure eyes. Go straighten it out first before you come bringing anything to me, right? Get that right. So I can't, just like, let me do my morning video. That's going to cause some major problems. It really is. It's going to cause some problems, some unnecessary problems with me and my husband. And it's going to bring an uproar in our house. So as we're growing and I realize this, I'm like, okay, we gotta add a little bit of help. We got to adjust some things. So everything has to be adjusted, right? And I definitely don't want to forsake my spiritual development and growth, which means I have to take it up a notch. And I have to rise a little bit earlier, right? So, and just to let y'all know. So, I'm not sure when, but sometime in the future, possibly before the summer is out. Possibly. It may be before the summer is out, but definitely, I almost want to say definitely before September of this year, we're going to move the time back to about 6:15 in the morning. If not 6 a.m., so I just want to give y'all heads up or whatever. Some of y'all may not bother you at all. You probably already up anywhere. The different time zones, they ain't really going to affect me anyway. Whatever, But just to let you know, that's kind of where we're going in the coming week. So y'all, with that being said, glad y'all hung out with me today. Right now, what you call it? 268. All right, y'all. So it is Sunday. 266, okay. It is Sunday, March the 20th, 2022, day 60 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1078. And we read the first part of Tablet O, which was only literally like 2 pages. In the complete Annunaki Bible, Tablet O, page 266 to page 268. And we'll pick this back up tomorrow in Tablet 2. We really just read Tablet 1 and the intro of this Tablet O, and like 1, 2, 3 little small paragraphs from Tablet 2. But we just gonna start Tablet 2 over tomorrow when we come. All right, y'all. And we didn't read any of My Big Toe today at all. All right, y'all. With that being said, thank you for hanging out, everybody. Audrey, definitely have to work on my discipline. We all do. Kimball, he has a psychic institute in Virginia. In Virginia Beach? What? I'm going to have to look on Edgar Casey. I'm going to have to look that up. I'll look into it, Casey, see what they're talking about. I don't know. That's interesting, though. But yeah, I'm going to look into it. Let me see. You should start a magic school on your website. Jay said you should start a magic school on your website. Yeah, I don't know that I want all that. I don't know that I want all that attention, right? Because magic is hot right now. Everybody looking for how to do some magic, and you have all kind of people that show up to your class. So you got the ones that just want to be hedge witches. Just show me the spell and stuff that I can do now. I don't really like to roll with them too hot, right? Because they always end up getting into a lot of trouble because they haven't practiced discipline, and now you got to call a bigger hedge witch that know what to do to get you out the mess that you done started, right? It's just it's too many too many unseen variables happening with the hedge witches, or people that just give me the spell, show me how to do the spell, this, but the information hasn't really sunken down into you on how to use certain methods, whether you want to call it magical, whatever, right? But we'll just use the word magic because everybody's familiar with it, and it gives some people chills, like, I'll cut off, right? So we'll use that. But learning how to do some things, you just really kind of have to go through the motions and really understand what it is you're doing. So it's really the principles. Here's the thing, y'all. It's not necessarily really the spells that you're doing, right? Here's what I found out. It's not really necessarily the spells that you're doing, although there are certain spells and things you can do and words that you can string together to help you remember stuff. But it's really understanding what is happening. Like really understanding what it is you need. And it's really not in all the manipulation of all the different things and the words. It really is about you and what you believe. I know that really sounds simplistic, but it really is. Just like when I'll use this. Just like when I was coming out to church and I was doing everything, my prayers and stuff, and in Jesus' name, because this is how you get your prayers answered, and everything you do in my name. But the more I grew, I'm like, okay. And Jesus was always teaching, let's just use this, right? Jesus was always teaching you how to live a good life and how to stay in tune with the Father, right? And so he was kind of like the perfect example for the Christian, so to speak, if that's what I want to say. That, at least that's what they teach you, right? And everything that you're doing to bring yourself to the point and place that Jesus himself was at, right? Not that you should worship him, but do as I do, right? You see me getting up praying early, then you should probably get up and pray early because it's benefit in it. Not just because I told you to do it, but you need to experience what I'm doing so you can see why I'm doing it. There is really benefit in it. But a lot of times that's not translating well to people. It's like, do this because this is what you're supposed to do to get your prayers answered. No, if you haven't actually practiced discipline to get up early and pray, that flow that kicks in after discipline has taken hold and it becomes a joy, and you actually get the benefit and see why it's good to rise early and pray. Like the early bird gets the worm, like you hear clearer. Everything is quiet. You see opportunities that other people don't see. You show up to work early, you get the goods before everybody else get there, and it's the hustle and bustle. All right, everybody get to work. The boss is there early, sharing the little nuggets of truth. Oh, we got, let me share. We got this coming up, this right here, I'm thinking about doing this. You get to put in input, right? It's kind of like that. And a lot of time people are operating on default. Okay, this is how you do it because this is how you do it to get results. Yeah, but no, right? It hasn't really sunk deep down into your sha-na-na, right? And so the same thing with the prayers. You do the prayers in Jesus' name. That's how you get results, right? But as I began to study, I'm like, oh, okay. So no, it's really not really about the name. It's really about the authority. Jesus, I know. Paul, I know. But who are you? The 7 sons of Sceva ran in there doing what they saw Jesus and Paul doing, but they didn't get the same results that Jesus and Paul got, right? Because they was just doing it following a formula, but they weren't really doing it because it was inside of them to do. And we do this because we know this work. It's a part of us. And so when we walk in, we got the authority. Just like when you walk into your house with your keys, who gonna say something to me? This is my house. I have the authority to be here. It's just like that. It's like when you get it, you get it. And that's why I can do my prayers and not say in anybody's name, not even in y'all's name, because I got the key. I'm the captain now. Who gonna tell me I'm not? Right? This is my house. I don't need to knock on my own door. Excuse me. Can you let me in? No, this is my house. I have the key. I don't need to ask anybody. I can come in. And that's my approach to my prayers. When I ask for anything, I'm just like, oh, in Jesus, no, maybe it didn't work because I didn't say Jesus, or in Yahweh shot. No. That's just the point where I'm at. It's like I could walk into places full well convinced that I'm going to get what I came in there to get. And I get what I go in there to get because I got the authority. What? I'm not even afraid to walk in here to get it because I'm coming in to get it. That's mine. Give it here. Thank you. All right. Goodbye. Right? What you going to say to me? I have the authority. Nobody's now you may have some people that's gonna challenge your authority, right? But really, this is my house. Just like trespassers and stuff. Trespassers, you are the trespasser, not me. And that's my approach and my prayers. Or what do you call magic or whatever. Some people that they don't really get it, they just doing it because it's a formula. Let me do this, so I need this for this situation here. You better stop. Just don't even, right? Because I don't even look at it now like magic. Like, it's not magic to me. Like, this is my key. It's mine. Get out of here, right? Sidebar, Marie. Hey, Marie. Sidebar, it's kind of like the movie Turning Red when you... Yes, Turning Red. Dana, she seen Turning Red too. Yes, right? When you speak about it, y'all seen the new Red Panda movie? It's not Red Panda, but it's the girl who turns into the Red Panda. And she realized she got this inside panda, which the family call it a curse, right? But when she became of age and she got this same, just call it spiritual gift or whatever, her family had a gift to where all of them turned into red pandas. And it was for the defense and fighting for their people, their family, when their city was being overran. So they had a older ancestor who, they show the story if you've seen it. So they have like this older ancestor who was a woman, and she had children. There were people who were coming to pillage the city, right? And she prayed to the ancestors or to God or whatever you want to call it, so she could defend her family, her children, and her city when these charlatans came to pretty much trample the city. So they granted her the wish. Not only that, she loved red pandas. Her gift was that she would be able to turn into a red panda and fight them off. And so from that point when they did that, of course, she defended her family and stuff, and the city town, nobody came to mess with them. But that gift was also passed down to all the women in their family. So all of them had this gift when they came of age, like puberty or whatever, where they find out they are red pandas, or they have this red panda on the inside of them. And some of them, they say, this is a curse, we're trying to get rid of it, we need to banish this, we don't know what to do with it, right? So some of the energies and stuff, like you may have a fierce energy or whatever inside of you, but if you don't know how to control it, you don't know why it's a part of you and why it's there. It's like, oh, this is a curse, we got to get it away. Nobody's help you understand your gift or help you to train your gift. And now it's just like, okay, we got to get rid of it. Exercise the demon. I'm demon possessed and stuff, right? But this little girl, she kind of realized this as time went on. Yeah, her mama panda, the mama, Trina said, her mama panda was huge. Yeah, the mama panda was the most fierce of all. Her mama act like she knew what was going on, while this whole time her mama was a red panda. And her mama, out of the little girl's mama, her grandma was also a panda. Her aunts and aunties, all of them was pandas. But the mama who was trying to keep the daughter from, she's like, we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna capture this red panda, and you can control it and put it in here, and it'll never be a problem again. The mom had the fiercest panda, and but as she began to develop and stuff, everybody was trying to get rid of their red panda once and for all. And as it went towards the end, the girl realized, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to get rid of this. I have this gift for this panda for a reason. I don't want to bash it. I want to keep it, right? Good, Dana. She said that's what happens when you live in fear, right? So, but she learned about her panda, right? If her emotions got out of control, she would go into the panda, she'd bust out her clothes and stuff, and now she's frustrated. But it became a point where she realized if she calmed herself, she was able to control the energy, the red panda within her. And
Mom,
she was able...
Are you really spoiling the movie?
Am I spoiling? Well, they brought the movie up. I mean, they saw it. He said, are you really spoiling the movie? So, but you got to go see it, y'all. But it was really good. Red Panda was a really good... Really good movie.
I'm reading one of the comments.
Yeah.
What?
They like the movie, too. They like it. So it was a really, its name is called Turning Red, right? But it's just put in Turning Red and it'll pop up. And she turned into a red panda. We be calling the movie Red Panda, but it's not really Red Panda. She just turns into a red panda, but it's actually called Turning Red, right? So it's really good movie. It just came out. It's on Disney Plus. It may be on something else too, but we watched it on Disney Plus.
Mom, I want
Yes, sir.
the next movie to be called Turning Blue.
Turning blue. What's gonna be blue?
The panda.
Blue panda. Okay, well we'll see. We'll see.
What?
Okay, move on. Okay, y'all. That's it. So yes, that's it.
Can I make a
Just talking today. No, you can't make a TikTok. Sheesh. All right, y'all. Yeah, hold on.
Where's the
I think I
camera
finished
on
everything.
this?
Oh yeah. I was just saying, yeah, just when I say my prayers, I don't have to, and most of the time I don't in my prayers in anybody's name right now, because I got the authority to get whatever it is that I want. Like, seriously, that's just, and when you grow, it's the same process of growth, y'all. It really is. Just look at how children grow. Look, don't go get that. You need to come ask. I don't want you to spoil your dinner. No, ask me and I'll let you know when you can have one. Because they don't have a concept for time yet.
What is
right?
the point of taxes?
The point of taxes?
Yes.
Well, here in America, you pay taxes, city taxes, to have convenience. The taxes take care of the city roads,
Rich people
to pay the people who are working for the city, to make sure we got sanitation services, picking up the trash. That's where your taxes go to for your city. Yeah. He asked me a question to cut me off when I'm trying to give him an answer. What, boy?
Rich people do not like taxes.
Most people who don't understand it, but they love the conveniences of it.
What?
Yep.
Mom.
Okay, y'all. Yeah, so that's, if you didn't know, that's why you pay taxes, y'all. You ain't just paying taxes because they want to suck every dime for you. It's for the conveniences of the things we enjoy. The mail carrying service, the paved roads. You don't want to be having to purchase tires every week because you busting them up on dirt and debris laden roads and stuff. Like all of this, the public school system, all this stuff, that's what taxes go. It really does, to make you have a better, more efficient city, to have conveniences that most people too lazy to do on their own. They don't have the discipline for it. So the government and city governments have taken on that responsibility. And then, okay, we figure out an easy way to do this. Let's just charge everybody taxes so we can make sure we'll be in charge of getting this done. And they can just enjoy the benefits of having their mail being brought to their house every single day. Roads where they can drive. They get the prettiest vehicles. They ain't worry about replacing their car 3 times a year. Yes.
Why is there police and criminals?
Well, it's like the yin and the yang. You need one to balance out the other.
So it's like cops and robbers.
Yep, same thing. All right, y'all, we about to
But
go.
they're not playing. They're playing with real life guns.
Marie, I understand. I don't like it. I get my own meal. Walk dirt road, Wilma Flintstone in the house. And some people do that. Like, that is completely your choice. Go off grid. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's really not. It's nothing wrong with it. But you can choose here. Like, that's the beautiful thing about Earth in this realm. We live on this realm of duality. We can choose, right? Just choose which school you want to go through, which discipleship you want to take up. You know, and you can choose, right? All right, beautiful people. That's it, though. We done. I think boy, they for the plants. What you think they for? All right, y'all. They're getting up. I got to get out of here. All right. And I think I finished the last thing I said. Yeah. All right. Mom. I love y'all. Mom. I see y'all back here tomorrow morning. Yes.
Our time's up. Huh?
Wait. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
And the next night, see you.